Be ready.
Right now, I have to stop saying
Or just be ready. Look what came in the mail. That's right. New shirt. That shirt. You can buy it too. Or you can become a diehard and get it for free. All that. And an actual pregame show coming up next here on DLLS.
Get ready, boys.
It is Sunday, and the Stars are playing again. Look who it is. It's Sam, back in studio for the first time in who knows how long. John, do you have the air horn radio sounder that everybody overplays? There it is.
He's back. Woo!
He's played that so many times, followed by the he needs some milk, that I was actually waiting for that to be played.
He needs some milk.
Or
Sam needs some milk. Sam needs some kombucha, actually.
What was
a lot of things.
What was the big sounder that John had that was, was it the trade deadline? That's what it was.
Yeah, the long one.
Well, it was just like over and over and over again, right?
I think, let me see. Is it here? I
still-
may have deleted it for my own safety.
To not play a 2-minute drop list or whatever
yes,
long.
that was the reasoning.
Yeah.
I do have this still.
Wow. All right. Well,
That'd be the Halo 3 grunt birthday party.
so Sam's back in studio. No Luds today. Sean was going to be on our pregame show, but he's tied up effectively at the USA Hockey Youth Nationals. I think he's covering, thank you, the U14s right now at Plymouth. So he wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not. Look at that. Sam the man. He's back. Thank you, Cam.
Bing bong.
Oh, we have look at that. So good seeing Sam smile after how sick he's been. That's from Burned Oils with a DeSmith and a Bork. Or no, sorry, a Brendan Smith and a Bork.
He knows that I love Brendan Smith.
You do.
Why.
You
Big
absolutely.
Brendan Smith guy.
But you're a big Casey DeSmith guy too.
That too.
We're going to talk about all things Stars and Wild here in just a moment, but it's nice to have Sam back in studio. Sean will be here for our post-game show on remote. Yep, welcome back, Sam. And John, of course, our producer, is here. Say hi, John.
Hello.
I'm waiting for him to do the
Hello.
classic hi, John, where he literally answers me. So
I'm not witty enough.
yeah, you're pretty funny, especially when it comes to Swifty lyrics. By the way, John, I was going to tell you this off air. Did you see the infographic or whatever they call it that the Stars tweeted out about Leon Bischel yesterday?
I did not. What did it say?
So, favorite song, a Swifty song.
What song was it?
He didn't say. He just said, they said, what would be your favorite goal song? And he said, a Swifty song.
Just any of them?
I thought you would very much
I mean,
like
I will
that.
have to say, like, I've worn much Swifty attire in hockey arenas in my day, and got on the Jumbotron once at TD Garden. It's a famous event that, unfortunately, I cannot share on the show. That's an off-air story, the full story.
I want to hear this.
However, it was told on regional radio in Boston, so people are aware of it. However, I will have to say, You Belong With Me goes very hard at arenas. At one point, when the Providence basketball team was on a run a few years ago, that turned into like the song that got played at the arenas and everything. They couldn't talk her into come playing it. She was a little out of their price range. But yeah.
When you say talk her into it, they couldn't reach her retainer or whatever.
She wasn't coming. I mean, she's got a house down there. She's right up the road. She could have done it, but
I was wrong.
That makes me like Leon Bischel a lot more, though.
It wasn't
Bischel, sorry.
Twitter. It was Instagram. So I'm going to have to go dig it out of Instagram and I'll show it to you later. All right, let's talk about some Stars hockey here as we just get silly here. Look at Harley. Welcome
I'm just
back,
going to run all the
bestie.
pro Sam comments throughout the show.
Yes, and I won't
Just
stop
hide
down
the
And
here.
maybe I'll work.
Anti-Sam.
If there's a negative Sam
Yeah,
comment,
hide
like
that.
if there's anybody who doesn't like that Sam's back, we might put that up as
Actually,
well.
if there's
I
anyone
can't
that's
handle
upset
that
that
right
Sam's
now.
back, you definitely need to get in the
Can't
chat
handle that right now.
and let us know how disappointed you are that Sam
Nice
is here.
studio you guys have here.
Yeah, it's like you've been here for the first time. Definitely hit that like button. Make sure if you haven't subscribed already, you should do that. Thank you very much for, let's see. I'm going to go with, it's Osborne. I think it's Erlene. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, correct me, please. All right, Sam. Streaks snapped last night. 7-game winning streak. 10-game point streak, Wyatt Johnston's 6-game goal streak, all on the wayside because of the loss to the Penguins in a game they could win. So let's get to this. You did a great job reporting post-game about the feelings. John, let's do those video clips early. Let's start with Casey DeSmith because we're going to turn from that into today's game against the Wild. Casey DeSmith after the game had an interesting comment that Lud's group texted us today going, you guys have to play this. So here it is.
Frustrating one to lose for sure, especially just the way it ended, like, you know, kind of thinking it's going to go in overtime, and at that point it's anyone's game, and then it's just like, you know, tough break there, and I would have liked to have the last one just kind of squeaking through me. So definitely a frustrating one after we had the lead in the third.
How tough is it? A lot of those goals were quick right off a turnover. How tough is that for you to get adjusted and be ready for the shot?
Yeah, it's hard. You know, a lot of bang-bang plays. Left some really good players with a lot of room in front, which is never a good recipe for anyone.
That's a good question. Who asked that?
I think it was me.
Yeah, it was
I
you.
even snapped.
So what do you think about game 70? This will be game number 77 today. So 76 out of 82 last night. No, Sean Shapiro not finally in person.
Sam Shapiro.
Oh, Sam Shapiro.
Someone asked who comes off the LTI or who goes on LTIR for me to play. It's clearly Luds.
Luz and Sam.
Lud's is day to day, just from being in New Jersey.
Although, by the way, apparently Stars Twitter said that Leon Bischel was joking about the Swifty thing. So now I don't like Leon Bischel.
They said he's not a Swifty?
According to Ann in the chat and according to Harley as well.
That was not a serious thing?
Very upsetting. That
Now
feels
they
like Leon
confirmed he
Bischel
was
is
joking
taking.
about
He know does he know not to mess with that crowd? Has he not learned his lesson?
We were talking about this last night. That is not a crowd you want to get on
That's
the
a
wrong
crowd
side
you
of.
want on your side.
You
That and the
want to be
cartel.
pro,
Swifties and the cartel. You want them pro.
or at least neutral.
We are a pro
at
cartel
worst, neutral.
podcast.
If you can have them be indifferent or better, that's a good thing.
Right. You just don't want to be on the cartel's radar at all.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the Swifties'
radar.
bad side.
One, I don't know which one's more deadlier. We'd have to pull out some stats on that. Anyways.
Thank you, Ardell. This is indeed a nice shirt. So, Casey DeSmith, after 76 games, says we can't leave these players uncovered in front of our net. He's right, but it's really bad that it's after 76 games that they were talking about that.
Yeah, I think we talked a ton about how things built up, right? Pete made some excuses, talked about how it's okay, we found a way, and that was okay for a big chunk of the middle of the season, but now we're starting to understand that that's not okay anymore. And that's what I take away from Casey saying that too, is like, look what happened in this game. Casey played outstanding hockey in that game last night or yesterday, but look at the goals they scored. We looked at I think you guys had it on a screen for Luds in the post game with everyone puck watching and Crosby being basically all alone in the slot. The other goals are wide open players off of just crazy turnovers, very fluke turnovers with guys falling into the boards or falling behind the net, or obviously the last one with Harley colliding with CC. So it's a quick bang bang play, and it just doesn't give your goalie a chance. And that's what we've seen a lot of lately, where it's not just they're giving up 40 shots, they're giving up very good quality chances high in the slot to good players, and it's just not a way to win games right now.
Well, you talk about the Harley play, and you reported this on our postgame show about how emotional he was for a guy that we talk about seems to have infinite confidence. Well, here's the emotion from last night that Sam was talking about.
Yeah, that one hurts. For Casey to play such a unbelievable game and then to give it away like the way I did it's tough.
Is that just a communication thing with you and CC at the end there?
Yeah, I mean, tried to outskate their F1. He kind of got a body on me, lost the puck. I thought I was just going to take it and regroup. And me and Cease ran into each other, obviously, and lack of communication on that one. And then, you know, I go and play a 2-on-1 like it. So my job's to take away the pass, and I let him have it. So sorry, Case.
Come on, we're way too of a professional operation
I was nervous
to let the dip S get through. John would have had it, but it was already pre-censored from the Stars before they sent it out. But yeah, I think it was important. You already reported on it last night, so it's not like our viewers didn't hear it, but sometimes hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You said the feeling in the room talking to Harley was unlike any other emotion you've seen from him. So I thought it was important for everybody else to see just how upset he was, especially because he felt so responsible for costing them that game. Now, there were a lot of other things that had to do with the Stars losing to Pittsburgh, but as Pete said, they had a lead in the third period and then tied with less than 2 minutes to go. That's a game he said, for all the issues, it's a winnable game.
Yeah, very winnable. And I think that's what hurts the most is it's not against a team that you're like, all right, we played them all the way to the end and Winnipeg found a way to win in the last minute. It's a team that you don't even want to be in the position they were in to give up a game-winning goal late in the game. You want to be ahead. I think we and you said it, once they tied it, we said yesterday, okay, good, now go win 5-1. And that's just not what happened. So it just hurts. I think the biggest takeaway was what Pete said afterwards about Harley, just basically saying, look, we ask him to do absolutely everything for this team. You're going to make mistakes, and it's not going to be the last time he makes these mistakes. It's good to show your maturity, your leadership, your accountability the way he did. Pete actually said, we're going to make sure once we calm down here a little bit, we talk to him and make sure he doesn't take it too far. And I think that's where your team has your back. I don't see Harley losing any confidence over this. I think this is a valuable lesson for a young defenseman, and it's great that it happened during the regular season.
Let's also thank last night, before we turn to today, we're going to talk about today's game after our ad break. The Winnipeg Jets fumbled as well. So as much as it hurt, and you could argue it still hurts because they could have gained ground against Winnipeg. Thank you, Bobby. The Stars didn't lose ground to Winnipeg because the Jets lost at Utah 4-1 last night. Now, yeah, you could be 2 points back with a game in hand and a head-to-head, but it's 4. But actually, lately, the Stars have made up ground because, honestly, we'll talk about this on Thursday when the Stars play the Jets in Dallas. It was 10 points when they lost to the Jets, and it looked unattainable. So it's still there. That's the good news. But second career hat trick for Evgenii Dadonov, snapped a 17-game goal drought, and he's one-upped with the 14th career NHL hat trick for Sidney Crosby, who had a 4-point game and was magnificent.
He was the best player on the ice. Casey actually joked, I think it was the practice before, how they talked about, facing Sidney Crosby, and he said he's a much better hockey player than I am. So if you get one on him, you're happy. And, he didn't put 3 past Casey, he put 2 past him and then the empty netter. But that was such a weird game. You look at it and you're like, oh, 2 hat tricks. You got all the action going on. You got, an afternoon game. It had the opportunity to be such a happy, positive finish, and it just didn't turn out that way.
We do have some injury news updates that we'll get to, but I want to spend the last minute or so before our break talking about Alex Ovechkin. He broke the record this afternoon. Now, the Stars game will be at their normal time scheduled. It's, I think, a 2:15 puck drop Central Time up in St. Paul. It'll be off of TNT. I think it's going to be on Headline News, HLN.
Which we have.
As part of the DirecTV package. So that's the good news, is that they'll play that. But for Ovechkin, $8.95. He now passes Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky in the house, of course. They had a big long, it was like a 20-minute on-ice ceremony.
Crazy.
The thing that was, for me, the coolest part was it was a hard, it wasn't the one-timer. It was a hard wrist shot, but it was a power play shot from his office, the left circle. It wasn't some backdoor tap-in or empty net goal.
Yep.
It was a goal scorer's goal. He still has it. It was on the power play. But to me, that just, it was, I was glad it was a good goal and not just some, little dribble. I don't think he wanted to break the record on that.
No, I think that the only way, I think it was on one of the podcasts I listened to way back when he was starting to get closer, is people said, I hope it's not an empty netter unless it's to complete a hat trick, which actually would have been the case in that other game that he
That was
that he tied
okay.
it.
That would have been cool, though.
Yeah, it would have been cool. But, this is cool. The fact that, I know it's on Long Island, but it's almost all Capitals fans were in that arena. The tickets were crazy priced. The fact that he scored it from where he scored it, it was on the power play, and then he did the full dive that he did when they celebrated the Stanley Cup. All perfect. And then me and John were watching it. They had hats for it. It looked like they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, they
brought
had the
out
merch. They
brought
merch
out
ready
everything.
To go. They had a red carpet. They had like a desk on the ice.
It
at
was
one
wild.
point. The owners down there.
They did have speeches, which we weren't sure if they were going to. Wayne and Alex spoke, but it's just a cool moment.
They had recorded messages from people who were literally standing next to him on the ice anyway, from like his mom and his wife. It's like, well, they're there.
It was
why do we have to record it?
It was as chaotic as you would expect it to be, and it's just hilarious that it was in the middle of the game, because it basically was like, here's 25 minutes, and then okay, let's go back, and then the Islanders scored again, and they're down 3-1. So what a weird day.
And they most likely will lose the game,
probably,
which is fine. By the way, no, it's good. It's good if they lose it, because the Stars still have a chance to catch them and Winnipeg for the President's Trophy. So Let's have him be distracted. Get
Fine
the
with that.
record, lose the hockey game. All that and more. We're going to talk about the captain, not of the Washington Capitals, Dallas Stars captain Jamie Benn. Will he play today? I'll tell you next. You're on DLLS.
First, I'm happy to be back to talk about Sleeper. Sleeper is the best fantasy platform out there, period. Put your puck or ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite player will have more or less than their projected stats each week. We will get to my pregame picks in a moment here. I am promising they will be hopefully nearly as good as John's. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts, breaking news, major injuries, so you can stay ahead of the game, keep track of everything in real time, and outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Stars to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply to any contest, doesn't have to be your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, for the picks, I have, Matt Duchene with more than 0.5 assists, which is 2.36 times. Figured that one was easy. He's been tossing out assists lately. Sidney Crosby, the aforementioned captain of the Penguins, with more than 0.5 goals. That's a 2.32 times. Again, a pretty easy one. And then this one might be the safest of all with the way the Stars have been playing. The Dallas Stars goalie, Jake Ottinger, with more than 24.5 saves, which is 1.74 times. He's in Minnesota. They've been giving up crazy amount of shots. That one feels like almost an automatic. If they all hit, you can win 9.5 times your money. That is going to hit today. I'm confident that all three of those will hit.
And we need it too.
And we need it. I'm
Records
still
aren't-
protesting.
records
We're
ain't
going to do
looking
the
good.
leaderboard in our post game today.
Well, here it
There
is.
I got a
boo.
four contest ticket correct last Saturday.
I've gotten 3 right, and yet we're 1 and 6.
How am I even on this board? Oh, that's us.
Well, yeah, no, it's basically
Got it. Okay. I was gonna say.
Mine get.
I
gets
say,
put
if I'm
in.
one and
protest.
6.
I want a full audit of the sleeper leaderboard. We'll talk about this
Yeah.
post game.
I wouldn't
Hey,
be surprised
Raz.
if Jeff was the one putting
Oh,
it
Rad's
together.
left.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about that in the post game show. Let's talk about the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Jamie Benn back in the lineup. He will play. Colin Blackwell will come out. Let's take a look at the lines. What we are hoping for, or at least not hoping for. What we expect. That's the wrong word. We're not hoping for this. Although I think this is probably right. My thought is Dadonov was playing well, obviously with the hat trick. He goes up as he finished the game yesterday. So Bork on the third line. Steele versus Oscar Beck. That may just depend on how Steele is feeling coming off of the injury. And he was playing on the wing. He was moved up with Wyatt Johnston, but I'm pretty sure Ben will be there today. You thought?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I think we're starting to run out of the runway here with this because Marchment, Duchene, Granlund has had its moments, but it's also had some issues figuring out chemistry.
Yep.
And Ben Johnson Dadonov has really not put together a consistent game. So I'm wondering what the runway is for those two in the middle. But I think to start at least, this is what we're going to look at because Dadonov deserves it.
What do you think about Duchene looked really good yesterday. He always does. His pass to Dadonov was phenomenal.
Yep.
But the other top 6, and I don't really have anything negative to say about Granlund yesterday, but the rest of those other 4, the top line and Marchment, I didn't think had a great game against the Penguins.
Nope, I didn't see a lot. Rantanen was even double shifted for basically the whole second half of the game. Something that Pete said he's like going to keep in his pocket because we know Rantanen was playing 20 plus minutes every night in Colorado, so he can do it. Not something they want to do, but I think this is the type of game where your big scorers need to play, right? You're not necessarily going to dominate all 4 lines, roll in an away game against a pretty good team. This is where the Rantanens and the Hints, Robertsons, those guys need to step up.
Heika just tweeted out the lines from the warm-up, and they are exactly as we predicted.
Bang.
So fist bump on that. Boom.
Nailed it.
And defensive pairings, the same. Lindell Ceci, Harley, Lyubushkin, and Bischel with Dumba. Bischel on a modest 2-game point streak with a goal the other day against Nashville, and now an assist yesterday. Jake Ottinger in goal, and Ottinger has been nearly unbeatable against the Minnesota Wild, especially at Xcel Energy Center.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves playing there. Obviously, he usually has a ton of people in the audience or in the crowd, and he just loves being the villain. And there's no better place to be the villain than going into your home state against a team that probably doesn't like playing against you.
Jake's career numbers against the Wild, 11 games. He's 7-0-2. Not all of them have been starts because remember, at the beginning of his NHL career, he came off the bench a couple of times. But think about this, 9.22 career save percentage against the Wild, had the shutout last meeting that was back last month when they beat them 3-0 on March 24th. He had a 32 save shutout. And I think this is really remarkable. Season series, Stars are 2-0-1, just with the very disappointing overtime loss coming out of the Christmas break where they had the lead 2-0, ended up losing 3-2 on Brock Faber's overtime goal. But think about this. Ottinger in the season series this year against Minnesota has a .945 save percentage, and Philip Gustafsson, who is lost twice and won one, has a .938. We've seen excellent goaltending between those two in the 3 previous matches. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't so far, although, Sam, Minnesota's been struggling.
Yeah.
They are, ready for this, winless in 4, 0-2-2. They are 1-4-2 in their last 7. That is a point percentage of .286 in a time where they're trying to hang on to a wild card spot. They have not been playing well, and Gustafsson's sort of been the only one trying to prop them up.
Yeah, it's. I think Lud said it yesterday, right? They've been kind of relying on with all the injuries, with everything that's going on. They relied on those two guys, and that's 2 excellent goaltenders to rely on as long as they are both playing well. But it shows the weakness of that team when, as soon as a goalie dips just a little bit, they start to lose games. And that's why I don't consider them a threat in the playoffs, even if they even make it into the playoffs.
Now, the big question is, can Kaprizov recover?
Yeah.
He's not there yet. He's not playing today. But if he does, he completely changes their team. He's good enough to give them the scoring punch, especially that power play chemistry he has with Zuccarello, to be a difference. But you want to talk about injuries? Jake Middleton picked up an upper body injury. They said he avoided what was the word I think they used? Was a serious or a
significant, maybe?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the word that John Hines, the Minnesota Wild head coach, said. I'll find it here in a second. But it was basically something to the effect of they avoided a major injury, I believe was the word. So that's good for him, but he won't play today.
Yep. It feels like they are the definition of the team right now, not when they're fully healthy. But remember how I mentioned Dallas, how I really thought they needed to add a defenseman because they were right on that line of just one injury makes them look weak.
Yes.
Well, guess what? They had the one injury. It was the most significant player on the
Miro.
team.
Yep.
And it makes their defense, and now they're one injury away from being really
just
struggling on the back
think about where the Stars would be if they didn't have Cody Ceci, right? They would have Brendan Smith playing every night, and nothing
you probably
against
have Petrovic up here or something.
Petrovic or Capobianco, and that's why getting Ceci in the lineup gave a big deal. Miro comes back, which they're not expecting. What about? Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Last night, I didn't hear it during the broadcast. Now, you and I were at the game, so you wouldn't have heard it at all. But Sean went back and watched the game this morning, and he tweeted about this from what Leah Hextall reported from, I think it was from Jim Nill.
Yep, straight from Jim Nill, that they don't expect Miro Heiskanen to be ready in round 1 of the playoffs. They use the word expect, so that's always, I think Sean or Robert said, you can kind of,
it leaves a little gray area.
But I feel like since we started to see Sagan's recovery timeline versus Heiskanen's, I think we all started to feel that this was the possibility. Maybe thinking they get him back in a game 5 or something like that, but I think they have to face the reality that he's not going to be ready, and they're going to be up against probably Colorado without their best player. That's tough.
I mean, you say face the reality. I think the Stars know that, and I think Pete was honest with us, what was it, a week or two ago, when Tim Kalishaw asked him the question of, is there a distinct possibility? And he said yes, that they have to win a round without him.
Yeah.
The question is, can he be ready for the second round if the Stars can get through whoever they... Because here's the thing. If they get past Winnipeg and win the division, which is still a big if, but if they do, it could be Minnesota. It could be Calgary because Calgary still has a shot. Now, they didn't win last night, and you saw the micrometers, not even millimeters or centimeters or inches of what Calgary had twice this week. They've had goals not counted where it's basically barely touching the back of the red line. Stars had this recently as well. And of course, full high definition cameras is you love to talk about. But 4 points. Flames are behind the Wild. We're not even talking about St. Louis right now because they are 4 points. They've blown right past Minnesota.
12 in a row.
It's unbelievable what the Blues have done. Think about this. The Blues have 24 points in their last 12 games, which is as good as they can do. They went from 69 points to 93 by not losing a game in that stretch.
Why does this sound so familiar?
Well, 2019, I don't think this is the same St. Louis Blues team. I don't think they're going to go win the cup, but Minnesota has to hold off the Calgary Flames. They're 4 points ahead of Calgary. The Flames have a game in hand. Dustin Wolf said after their overtime loss yesterday that they expect to win that wild card spot. Minnesota seems like the team that is bailing water out of the boat trying to stay afloat right now.
Yeah, they're 500 basically, and if you look back, they've basically been 500 for a while. It's started to really turn into we are gripping everything we have to just get to that final game. And unless Calgary doesn't do what they've been doing, I don't know how they don't fall out, which is just crazy to think, because they were someone we expected to be not a contender necessarily, but a pretty good team, maybe battling for that third spot in the Central.
And if you catch Winnipeg, we talked about this yesterday, if you can beat the Jets to the first spot in the Central and avoid playing Colorado in the first round, or in this case, is also not have to play Winnipeg, which that really doesn't look like a reality at the moment. But if you can play Minnesota or Calgary be tough. But again,
different.
I don't think it's the Colorado Avalanche. So you avoid Nathan McKinnon. And Calgary would be a good bounce team. They can't score to save their life, but boy, can they defend. And Dustin Wolf has been good, but he's a rookie.
Yep.
Or Minnesota, who has Gustafson's had a phenomenal year in net, but they don't score a lot either. There's a big reason. So here's the whole thing. Why were they so disappointed yesterday? Missed opportunity.
Big time missed opportunity. At least get to overtime and get yourself a point there, and it changes the dynamic of things. There, obviously, Winnipeg did him a favor, but the way it's been going for Dallas for the most part is they win, Winnipeg wins. They lose, Winnipeg loses. It's just like it, or Winnipeg wins and they jump up by 10 or whatever it was back when they lost to Winnipeg. But now it's starting to look even more important. We all wanted to see them chase them down and win because we knew it would be a favorable matchup. Now, when you're looking at the Miro thing and the situation and the way Colorado and Winnipeg are both playing, it's like, wow, if they could figure out a way to get that spot, not only do they get an easier matchup, but Colorado and Winnipeg have to duke it out probably for 7 games and beat the crap out of each other. That's just a little different when you're looking at a second round against Colorado or Winnipeg after they had already played each other.
All right, let's take a look at the Minnesota Lions, because they got some issues going on right now, Sam. Excuse me. Obviously, no Kaprizov. So let's see. Foligno, Rossi, Boldy. They're changing it up from what we thought. So Boldy will be on the right with Marco Rossi in the middle and Marcus Foligno. This is based, these lines, they didn't practice yesterday. This is based on their game against the Islanders on Friday that they lost. They played poorly, and obviously they really needed it. Johansson, Gaudreau, Zuccarello stays the same. Obviously, Nyquist is going to, Foligno moves up, so they're going to have Nyquist, Hartman, and Hinostroza on the third line, and then Trennan, Shore, and Brazo as the fourth line. I'm looking at this as Joe Smith posted these lines, and the Minnesota fans are not happy. The responses of third and fourth lines are brutal. We've hit rock bottom. Why no Ogren? Oh, wait, it's because we have cap issues. They can't even have the young guys called up they want because this is, and then go to the defense and the goaltending, if you would, John. They do, compared to the last game against the Stars, get Jonas Brodin back, but Middleton is out, so Declan Chisholm comes in. And Gustafsson plays, he's been overworked. He's been great, but he has played, I believe, 12 of the last 14 Wild games.
You're relying on him, right? And it's funny that they have, Fleury as the backup. It feels like he should be providing more of a boost, not overworking Gustafsson, but he's been so good. Gustafsson's been so good that they have to do it. They don't have a choice. I mean, you look at that forward line group that we just looked at. I'm not afraid of that group. Very little. Zuccarello, maybe Boldy.
I was wrong. It's 14 of his last 16. So this will be this 15th start in their last 17 games. Since the end of February, Marc-Andre Fleury has played March 9th at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Duh. And then March 25th against the Vegas Golden Knights. So if it's not one of his former teams, they are trying to get Gustafsson. I mean, look, Fleury's a legend. He's a surefire Hall of Famer. He's one of my favorite personalities in hockey, but they are showing by their actions that they are relying solely on Gustafsson. We talk about not overplaying Jake Ottinger, and for good reason. Casey DeSmith was great. He was good again against yesterday. this is overplaying Philip Gustafsson.
Yeah, and you look, I was just looking at their stats. Boldy leads their team with 64 points.
Yep.
He's the only one who has 60 points.
Yeah, I mean, Kaprizov would have been a Hart Trophy candidate.
For sure.
But that's
just
it.
looking at the way they're lining up right now, Kaprizov has 52, and he's obviously only played 37 games. But the way they line up right now, you have to worry about one guy who's been able to put together 60 points.
And special teams.
Play well defensively, you should win this game.
Listen to the special teams. Last 9 games for the Wild, they're 2 for 19. That's 10.5%. Not good. Penalty kill, 76.5%. In the last 7 games, they are 31st in the league at 72.2% for the year, 21st in power play at 20.3. It's not so. We always talk about special teams and goaltending can win you playoff games and important ones when your offenses and go. Well, they're not scoring. They are literally trying to crawl their way to the finish line.
Yep.
Can they hold off? The Blues are gone. Can they hold off against Calgary? What do you think? If you had to predict today, we have what? This is game number 78 for them. So they have 5 games left. That's it. 5.
Yeah.
Can they do it?
No. I pick Calgary overtaking them for sure.
Okay,
especially because
last
Dallas
thing.
wins today.
Jamie Benn back in the lineup. Big rivalry. Stars and Wild. Oh, hi, Luds. Thanks for watching. Does Jamie Benn hit that milestone 400th goal today, overshadowing 895?
Yeah, nobody cares about Ovechkin anymore. I say yes only because, 1, he's coming back obviously after missing, which he rarely ever does. But 2, this team needs someone to drag them into the fight, and he's seen what's been going on. He needs to drag him into the fight. He should be one of the best players on the ice today.
So look at this. Burned Oil said, Luds is in the chat, but his wife is typing for him. We give him a lot of crap about his technology, but Luds does know how to get onto YouTube and get in the chat. So good on you, Luds.
Thanks,
we miss
Luds.
you, bud. All right. That's it. Pre-game show's done. Puck drop is in about 12 to 15 minutes on HLN, Headline News. It's channel, what, 202? 201?
I think it's 202.
Something like that on DirecTV if you have it. If you don't, we'll see you for Postgame Show with Sean right here on DLLS.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys.
Yeah.
We all silly like the mayor.